Yo, what's going on, Epic 7 fam? I'm Sue, and the Mad Lads actually did it. The supposed missing Maryland mail from December has surfaced, and it is here to celebrate the Lunar New Year. And there's some absolutely banger announcements that are contained within. So I want to talk about it and my 2 cents on everything that was actually shown. So let's jump past this retrospective of 2024, and we'll talk right about the upcoming updates straight from the mouth of Maryland herself. So in February, we will be getting a new special side story based around this hero here, Tori, right? Who is a apparently a convenience store worker by day and streamer by night, which is like literally 90% of characters in games and anime lately. So it take it or leave it. It's not my cup of tea. As for her design, I think that the bunny design on the right is pretty, cool. I guess this is like her streamer design. And then you have her live 2D design. This is like, I guess, the design we'll get as a playable unit in the game. Not a fan. Not a fan of this design. Look, I get it. It's a bit risque by E7 standards. But in 2025, this isn't really anything. Like, if you've played Azure Lane, or you've seen Brown Dust 2, or you've even played or seen Outer Plane, which is Smilegate's other gacha, this character is tame compared to the characters in those games. I think my real reservation from it is twofold. One, I think that the design is a bit busy, right? Like you have like the thigh highs and also the leg warmers on at the same time, and the floofy sleeves and the rabbit kind of like ears on top. Like it's a lot of stuff that like we don't really need. Like I get it, they're trying to go for the risque design, but like the risque design shows so much skin that they're like, I don't know, we got to put something on her. So they put the giant sleeves or whatever have you. Again, I'm not a fan. Also, you can see here, she is part of the Runway Fighter universe. So she's going to be alongside of Lulika, Designer Lilibet, Lone Cresta Bologna, and Bad Cat Armin. The second thing that I'm not like super big on is when you put her against designs like top model Lulika, who was made by Saren, who used to be a E7 character designer, probably the best character designer in Epic 7 history, right? His designs are just iconic, peak, right? And putting her next to it, you can kind of see like she's there, like it's certainly a serviceable character design, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that like I think she's better than Lulika. She's not better than like Sermia or like Euphinae's character design. So yeah, it's a bit rough. Like it's not my favorite character design, but hey, she is a new character. I'm assuming a limited for Valentine's Day, and she fills in needed lore for Runway Fighter because oh god, that story is not good right now, right? So my assumption for February is we'll be getting this new character Tori, right? We'll be getting Tori and hopefully a rerun of Laya and Sweet Miracle. Maybe we get the Tamarin as a skin or another unit. They kind of surprise us. Who knows? Fingers crossed. But yeah, if you played at all in the past fall, you remember Gala Lilius. When she turned a year old, she got a rerun in the fall. And then right after it, we got the new Afternoon Soak Flan, who was basically the newer version of that character. I expect the same thing here with Laya. You'll have a Laya rerun, and then after Laya gets her rerun, then you will see this new character, Tori, or maybe it's the other way around. We see Tori first, and then hopefully a Laya rerun. Laya is too important of a character to not be able to rerun for all players, especially Sweet Miracle. Sweet Miracle is busted. Like, we're going to need more copies of that. So now, moving into March, this is, in my opinion, the best thing that was announced today. The beloved minigame Brawl from Night of the Last Succession returns by popular demand as seasonal content. Right? So you will get... there will be seasons of Brawl, which I am pretty excited about, right? This is brand new content. I don't know if it's PvP. Nothing here kind of suggests that it is. People were saying they were hoping it was, but it is repeatable PvE content, which injects dozens, hundreds, thousands of hours back into the game, based on how they roll it out. And as you can see here, as the seasons progress, the gameplay will continue to evolve, right? So you'll get more characters, more synergy unlocks. So what you play my assumption, what you play in week 1 will be different than week 2, which will be different than a month into it, because they will have these kind of characters, synergies, and things roll out over time, which is a really, really good idea. As you can see here, while relics will offer various benefits from Brawl gameplay mode. So I don't play a lot of auto chess or TFT or things like that, but I've watched Divine play a lot, and I've watched Inori, who's a very, very good auto chess player, play these games, and seeing the cards at the start, which I assume are these relics, it's kind of like Auto Tower, where you see 3 cards and they augment your gameplay style, and they send you down particular paths, and as you play, as you go further, you get more of them. So it creates this like roguelike element that makes you kind of think about your team building on the fly, right? You either could abandon your strategy and pivot to something different, or go another way. It adds tons of depth and creativity to the actual game. So this is like, it's a massive, massive feature that they're adding to this thing. As for seasoned Brawl experts, a challenging hard mode will be introduced. So not only do you get the normal Brawl, but you will get hard mode. So it's going to be even more difficult. So not only will content be different week to week, it will have multiple difficulties, and it will have that small roguelike element with relics, assuming it is what I think it is. And there are apparently rewards for playing the new Brawl mode. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Without even playing it, this might be the best thing they've added to the game in the last like 2 years. Maybe like last 4 years. Like if you're being really hyperbolic, right? Like RTA came out like 4 or 5 years ago. This is potentially one of the best things that they've ever added, right? And if it's a permanent fixture to the game with a bunch of different content that's being changed seasonally, this is like, it's like doubling your end game content, because now you'll have like dedicated, you have dedicated Guild War players, you have dedicated RTA players, dedicated arena players. Now you can have dedicated Brawl players in the late game. I think that's really, really cool. Speaking of Guild Wars, by the way, Guild War revamp is here in this patch as well. I really hope that the Guild War revamp that they're proposing, right? It's going to be in Lafundos now, which is, it's a new background, new structure. I hope this is good, because they don't have a great track record right now with the revamps, right? Oh, more rewards for Guild War. That's always a plus, by the way. But the revamps that they've had so far have not been particularly amazing, right? You think about it, Ancient Inheritance revamp, it was good the first time, but then you realize it was worse than the original. Less rewards, surprisingly less units to play. Yeah, not as good. Flag Arena, good in practice. In execution, definitely worse than the old system. I think most of us agree. And even Hall of Trials, good idea, but it's got less depth, I want to say, than the old Hall of Trials, so that one wasn't super good either. And I know people will say like, oh, but the old Hall of Trials was just play Red Surmia all the time. Not necessarily. I just don't like the fact that the new Hall of Trials is like, hey, you gotta play this in order to get, the new exclusive equipments for MLs, and it's just a thinly disguised way to get you to pull for the new unit. Because whatever is the unit on banner is pretty much always the best thing to be playing for the new Hall of Trials. So I'm not like super big on that, right? I would prefer that it's more creative and you can have a little bit more freedom on it. But I'm getting off topic. Let's talk about this new Guild Wars a little bit more here. So it used to be 3 fortresses and 1 stronghold, right? So that was basically the strategy. You killed 2 of the big towers, the 2 of the fortresses, right? And then you move on to the stronghold. The war will now take place across 3 fortresses. Each fortress consists of outposts, defense towers, and 1 stronghold. So it's a triple layer thing. You have 3 different strongholds. So it's kind of like, instead of having 3 big towers and 1, you now have 9 big towers and 3 strongholds, which is pretty cool. Like it's a big change. Hopefully there might be more changes to it. They'll mention it in a second. This is a huge feature, by the way. You can now reconnect to Guild War fights that you've disconnected. Thank God. There's been so many of these things. Over the last like 5 years, I've had probably close to like 24 game crashes or disconnects, right? So that's very, very good. We like that a lot. That honestly should have been a feature that was added back in 2019, like early 2019, if I'm being honest. The fact that it took like 6 years to get here, yikes. Also, new things being added to the guild member shop. So you have these modification gem selection boxes, always good, reduces gearing RNG. And then you have a bunch of these 85 gear pack boxes that you can, I assume, I guess, buy weekly. That is also very, very good. Helps reduce overall gearing RNG. I'm always here for new stuff being added to the guild shop, because once you get to the late game, you're basically just buying the blue box, the Mullagora, maybe the Mystic Metals. That's kind of it. Anyways, moving on here. So this one here, so previously guilds would only fight against the same servers, but now you could fight against guilds from all servers. So this is a good change and a bad change. It is a very good change in terms of gameplay, right? Because it will make Guild War matches feel more competitive with the new format, right? It will overall enhance the way the quality of the games, right, for Guild Wars. That is a good thing. But the bad thing, at least what this suggests to me, and I'm sure you probably noticed this, like the game is 6 years old, right? We're going into year 7 of Epic 7. And yeah, people, they leave over time, right? Like, you know, some of your friends, if you've been playing for a long time, you probably know a lot of people who quit the game who just don't play the game anymore, right? Like, just overall, the player base is smaller than it was a couple years ago. And, like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's an older game, right? E7's doing fine. But I'm sure you and your own guild might have a couple of open spaces, or you have people that just don't really participate in Guild Wars like the way they used to, right? Or you might just, you know, in general be hopping from guild to guild because you can't find a stable guild because they're not always packed. There's just not enough players to pack all of the guilds. By merging all of the servers together, you make the games, the Guild Wars, feel a lot more competitive, because it hides the fact that there's a lot of guilds that just don't have a full roster. That's kind of what I'm getting out of it. If I'm wrong, so be it. Maybe they just wanted to do this from the start because it saves on server costs. I don't know. But to me, this says, hey, we noticed that guilds like aren't as active as they used to be. We want to do this revamp, and for us to ensure it's successful, and for us to ensure that the matches are hype, we merge all the servers. So I'm here for that. We're playing a tournament-style guild war that brings together guilds from all servers. So there's going to be a tournament, apparently. I guess like an exhibition match or something like that, like they did with the WCG a couple years back. Like I think it was like 2 years ago, 2023. Look, all I'm saying is I need like a Say Jam Slam style, you know, content where like somebody like Lucent or like Vic contacts like, you know, a bunch of like, you know, members of the community, maybe content creators, notable players, and we go through like a Guild War boot camp where they help us level up our game, right? So that way Global can kind of roll in and crush this this Guild War tournament. I think that would be pretty sick. I'm here for this. My assumption, like I said, this was announced, the update in March, right, for Brawl. I think this will also come in Brawl, because if you recall, last year in 2023, or 2024, I should say, yeah, all the quality of life changes happened in March, right? And the World Cyber Games was also in March. And 2 years ago, the WCG had a Guild War exhibition match to showcase the Guild War system. I think that's where the devs' heads are at for this. Unveil our new Guild War system, you know, have an exhibition match with like the best players from global, Europe, Korea, Asia server, etc., in front of a large audience, really showcase what the game is about. That's what that says to me. And as you can see here, please check the upcoming developer notes for more details, because obviously this is going to be a huge change to the game. There are a lot of Guild War mains that are out there. Yeah, I'm here for this. This is a very, very good change, right? There's also, in April, we apparently will be getting the start of episode 6, right? Oh, cool. Larger scale E7WC. Let's go, right? I'm here for that also. That is a really good thing to hear. On top of that, right, or I should say, my sincerest wish for that is that it goes smoothly this year, right? Because like we had the cheating scandal in 2023, and then 2024 had the random player DQs. the fact that because Nezuko couldn't play in person in the finals, somebody who was already eliminated ended up going back into the tournament and then winning it. Like, I just want it to be a consistent rule set, no hiccups. I just want that for the E7WC. That's like my biggest wish. I just want it to be a really hype event for the community, and I want it to run smoothly. No cheating, no random loop holes that cause somebody else to win, right? Just a good event, okay? That's what I want. That's all I want, fingers crossed. Yeah, and then, as you can see here, for all heirs who've been eagerly awaiting, new heroes from a new world are set to rise. So a collab is coming, and it was started in the section here, like I said, in April. We're getting episode 6, and, you know, new heroes from a new world. This checks, by the way, again, look at the 2024, right, schedule. Not a lot happened in January. February, we got a Valentine's event with a pretty busted unit. And then March, we got a bunch of quality of life changes, right? You had the World Cyber Games exhibition matches. And then in April, you got the big collab, right? That was Overlord. This all checks. This basically shows us a really good roadmap for what's to come for the next like 3 months or so. And honestly, like I said, I'm all here for it. So what I want to hear from you all is let me know how you feel about everything that was talked about here. And most importantly, what do you want to see for the collab, right? I have wanted Nier Automata for a while now, right? That's pretty much my dream collab. Hololive EN is another one that I would be very, very excited to get. And other than that, I'm kind of here for anything. Anything that would be, you know, really hype. I won't hate on it if it's something I don't like, but I'm very curious as to what this is going to be. I've heard, you know, Demon Slayer, but Summer's War got that. And I've heard Freerin, but another gacha game just got that. So I just want to know, what the hell is it? Like, what is going to be the collab? What kind of hype would it bring, right? That's what I really, really want to know. And I want to hear that from you. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later now.